The Need for Speed community really doesn't know what they want. Now, there are two sides to a coin, or two sides to this coin, being that in the context of this video. On one side, you have people who want brand new ideas, who want big, brand new core customizations, but the issue is that everything they want is backed up by social media trends and by social media. What someone sees doing to a car on Instagram, a car trend on Instagram, they want in a Need for Speed game. If someone sees a car trend on TikTok, they want to see that car trend on TikTok on a Need for Speed game. Not really bearing in mind any nostalgia or anything, any of the roots that Need for Speed has. They want to throw away everything that Need for Speed has built up over the years in spite and in sake of new ideas. And more catering towards online gameplay than actually having a good solid campaign. And then you have the other side of this coin, the community who grew up playing the nostalgic Need for Speed games, who grew up playing from the first Need for Speed game to now, who are unhappy with the direction of Need for Speed games as of now and as of the recording of this video. They want the nostalgia, they want the resemblance, and they want to feel like a home. They want to feel like they're playing an old game but in today's graphics, with new physics, with drift physics, with new handling, and they want a good solid storyline with characters that have soul. They want to feel like they are playing a movie or like they are reading a book that they are playing in a video game. They want a nostalgic experience. They want to see everything from the old games but in today's graphics and in today's modern age. Now, let's be honest, people. Graphics is something in video games that has been nailed down. We have graphics, but graphics don't make good video games, because for the longest, graphics were never really that much of an issue when gaming first started out. No one's really gonna care whether Tetris is in 4K or not, because it's a 2D game, and even 2D platforming games and 2D games these days are more popular than they've ever been. But we need to be honest with ourselves. Graphics is good, but graphics doesn't make good video games. And having realistic graphics, and I'm saying this with air quotations, having realistic graphics doesn't necessarily make a game good. You play a game, you don't watch it. Otherwise, if Need for Speed Heat or Need for Speed, all these three Need for Speeds from Need for Speed 2015 and Need for Speed Payback had to be movies, there would be pretty decent graphics. I mean, honestly, I would say there would be a pretty good video to watch. But the truth is that the graphics is good, but the fundamentals of the game are horrible. The storylines are unimaginative and bland. The way the game plays is most important, because people want drift physics, they want good handling. They don't want a car that doesn't handle like the way it should. People want realistic everything. And you know, the sad part is that with Need for Speed Unbound coming out, and I've seen the gameplay, and my opinion has not changed. My opinion has not changed, and the Need for Speed community is divided. I saw a post by another YouTuber called Goosiest, of where he made a video about Need for Speed Unbound, and he checked out the Facebook post about the game. And let me tell you, the people are really voicing their opinions on Facebook. People want the remaster and the remake of Need for Speed Most Wanted, Need for Speed Underground 2, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But the truth is, the community is not happy about Need for Speed Unbound. On one hand, you have people who are saying they're happy, and on the other hand, you have people who I've seen a lot more people talk against this game than for it. And I'll put up a few slides or a few pictures of the comments. You can read it yourself. I'm not really going to read it because I want this video to flow. As effortlessly as possible. And the truth is that like we're never gonna get remasters and we're never gonna get remakes of the old Need for Speed games. Like Criterion made Need for Speed Most Wanted just 2012. The game wasn't bad at all, but the only issue is that it had Need for Speed Most Wanted in the title. And for the sake of Need for Speeds, that wasn't a bad game. It was a catalyst to making better games. And even so far back as 2011, we had Need for Speed The Run, which was a realistic adaptation of a Need for Speed game. Real world locations, real world cars, real people. You felt like you were playing real people in a video game. And for some reason the game didn't get the good reviews, so the game never got a sequel. and there was even a sequel hinted, and then shortly after that Black Box was shut down. So we are never going to get any remakes, any remasters, or anything towards the games that Black Box made, because people, when they get a realistic game, they complain, and then when they get a game that is all effects, that is all filters and whatnot, they complain. So people really need to find a middle ground of what it is they want, and they really need to be specific, because from what I've seen, everyone is saying that they love Need for Speed Unbound, but they're not being honest. They're complaining about the cartoon effects. I think that's the biggest issue with Need for Speed Unbound, is the cartoon effects. The community, and the thing is, from Need for Speed Heat to this couldn't be anything far more from what we wanted as the Need for Speed community. This is in the exact opposite direction. We wanted toned down, people wanted to tone down on all the effects and everything. They wanted proper drift physics, a proper campaign, as opposed to switching that out for an online multiplayer that is pretty much bland. You can't really do much, and that's the thing that's happening with Need for Speed games. The fate of Need for Speed Unbound is this game's gonna come out for literally 3 months, and then this game's gonna come out, and then 6 months later, no one's gonna be talking about it, and then they're gonna want a Need for Speed 2025 or 26. So the choice is yours. Pick whichever game you like. But when Need for Speed has gone in so far in a direction that doesn't make any sense, can't really complain, because I mean, people got a Need for Speed, a realistic Need for Speed with the characters and a storyline and a good narrative. All they needed was just more content with Need for Speed The Run. This is why I said one of the greatest Need for Speeds of all time, but it was unappreciated, and now you see the fate of Need for Speed. So all I can say is that Need for Speed will never go back to the way it used to be. The community is too divided, and younger generations are taking over the Need for Speed space by essentially backing everything they want in Need for Speed game by social media. And then you have the other hand who want Need for Speed Most Wanted 2, who want Need for Speed Underground 3, who want Need for Speed The Run 2, or Need for Speed Japan, or Need for Speed Tokyo, and they want real world locations with real world cars. They want real people. But my conclusion is that the Need for Speed community really needs to be honest with what they want. They need to relay what they want, and they need to tell EA what it is that they want. Because if you say that you're going to like everything that they're going to make, they're not going to know what they want to make or what they have to make. If you say you want a realistic Need for Speed with realistic world locations, good car physics, good drift physics and everything, then they will probably give you that. But if they do what it is that they want, they're not going to know what to do. But anyway, this is the Chili Man signing off. Peace out.